this morning, even though we know that this is an investment that most of us are making in trying to get some more information. So allow me to say a hearty good afternoon now. It was morning just 5 minutes ago, but I can say good afternoon now. And thank you for spending or investing your lunchtime with us. Don't worry, we won't keep you for too long, so you will have more than enough time to get in that sandwich and also maybe get in a cup of coffee. However, in the meantime, if you feel like you are really ravaging and quite hungry, then maybe you can just turn off your camera slightly and then enjoy your sandwich or and a beverage of your choice. Let's keep it responsible, though, as you are enjoying the beverage of your choice as well. My name is Kevin Henderson, and I am the Proposal and Design Specialist at Stellenbosch Business School, Executive Development. And I will be journeying with you with my colleague, Ms. Claire Kelly, to explain to you what the Young Minds program is about. And so allow me then, on behalf of our CEO, Dr. Chris van der Wiffen, and the rest of the SBS Ed family, our team, to say a very welcome as you're joining us this afternoon. As you can see, this is a little outline of what we would like to cover. We are hoping to give you some ample time for Q&A, for questions at the end. But in the meantime, may I ask you, if you have a question, please put it into the chat. The rest of the team will pick it up from there, and they will respond, if they can, with an answer to your question. That way, we save a bit of time at the end so that we don't have to go through all of those questions. But don't worry, if you didn't get a response during the session, at the end, we will go through the chat again to make sure that we've covered all the questions as well. So I'm going to talk to you about the overview of the program. Then Claire will come in and talk to you about the calendar and some practicalities. And then we will deal with some burning questions right at the end. So at this point in time, I think it might be a good idea for me to introduce you to our team and the team that will be serving the students that come onto the Young Minds program. So I've already said who I am, and you can see that I have difficulty because I'm the only thorn there on the screen, but don't worry, I will be joined by another thorn quite soon. But let me say, a very important person that your youngster, if they enroll for the program, will get to know this person very intimately, and that is Miss Samantha Abrams. Samantha is our program manager, and my way of introducing her is to say she is all things admin. Every administrative issue, any logistical issue that the student might have, they can resolve with Samantha. On my far right, I have, on my screen far right, I have Amira Lewis, who is our program administrator, and Amira has been dealing with the applications at the moment. So she would have, or you would have received some emails from Amira, some invoices, etc. But Amira is our program administrator. And then next to Samantha, I have Charmaine Mitchell. Charmaine is not joining us this morning because she's also seeing to her own personal development as she is attending a course at the moment. But she is our client liaison person. But most importantly, right in the center, Mr. Venter, we have our program or our channel director, Ms. Claire Kelly, who holds the team together and bring all that energy, and as you can see in that picture, all the laughter to our team as well. I said I'm going to introduce you to a gentleman, another thorn amongst the roses, none other than a very important person, similar to the role that Samantha plays. I said Samantha is the program manager. Dr. J.P. Cronje is our learning process facilitator. And so, as I said, Samantha is all things admin. JP will be all things learning. And I want to distinguish that immediately. I'm not going to say he's all things academic because he's not interested in the academics of it. That's my job. But what JP is going to be interested in for the rest of the year with the youngsters is to understand and help them to learn. And we all know that people only learn when we can see the evidence of a change in their way of doing, their way of being, in other words, a change in their behavior. And JP's role is going to be to do that, to integrate the different modules, to create a sense of consistency, to catch them when they are sort of getting off the track. So JP is the learning process facilitator. And so thank you very much. Oh, by the way, we can congratulate JP again. This is the first time this year we can say this, that JP just completed his PhD last year. So that's why I made a point of calling him Dr. JP Krumrie. So congratulations on that as well, JP. So let me tell you about Stellenbosch Business School Executive Development. I think this is important to note that like all universities, our university also have different faculties. The Economic and Management Sciences faculty is the place where the business school is hosted in. The business school, however, is on one of the satellite campuses of the university, which is out here in Bellville and not actually in Stellenbosch. But on the Bellville campus, or also known as the Belpark campus, in the business school, we have the two divisions. The one responsible for academic programs, postgraduate degrees like your MPhil in developmental finance, your MBAs, and even PhDs. Whilst within the business school, we have another element, another division who's responsible for the development of short courses for working professionals usually. And one such program, the Young Minds program, sits in that division, and that is called Stellenbosch Business School Executive Development. Now, in as much as we are part of the business school in that way, we issue certificates, but our certificates and the quality of our programs are quality assured by Stellenbosch Business School itself. The value of that is that we present a program that's practical in nature. In other words, our faculty we select from people who are in practice, but at the same time, we have the value of the academic rigor that our colleagues at the business school also bring into the fold. So what is the Young Minds program? The Young Minds program is a 9-month career-focused gap year program in essence, and it will be run from the 11th of March to the 7th of November for this year. So you can see it spans over a 9-month period. This program was called into being as a structured personal development program for young adults who are not sure what they would like to do with their lives and their careers as yet. So where will we run this program? The program will be presented not on our Belpark campus, but actually at Stellenbosch University, on the university campus, main campus in Stellenbosch. And like I said, from the 11th of March till the 7th of November. We structure the program in such a way that it coincides with the different terms of the university, and later on, Claire will highlight those dates for you so you can see where the different learning periods are as well. And as Jeppy indicated, she's sitting right on top in the Nielsie. There's the Fear Saal or the Fear Hall that we are using as the venue for the Young Minds program. And that venue is right central in the university sort of location as well. Like I said, it's a 9-month program which will be facilitated predominantly face-to-face. And what that means is that the classes will be in person and some of the sessions will be facilitated remotely. The stuff that will be facilitated remotely will be mostly the personal individual life plan sessions that will be conducted with the LPF, but all theoretical classes and practical classes will be facilitated in person on campus in Stellenbosch as well. From a content point of view, but before I get to the content, maybe just a couple of highlights of the program. I think we are proud to say that when the young person qualifies or completes the program, They are then certified by the university itself. So the certificate is issued by the University of Stellenbosch. By the way, just for giving you the history, we are already in the 15th year of presenting this program. It used to just be known as the Gap Year program, but it has evolved as the Young Minds program. Stellenbosch University's career services do recommend this program. We use a developmental approach in our design. And I think it's important that maybe I spend a minute just explaining what that means. When I say developmental, it's developmental in terms of it's growing, but it's also iterative in the sense that as the year progresses, we expect to see growth in the person. And that growth is being seen in the different presentations that they will do with regard to their life plan, where they start, and over about 4 to 5 different presentations, we reach the point where they have a final life plan presentation as well. It provides flexibility and also some real world exposure. We encourage holistic self-discovery, and hopefully we will help the youngster to align their talents and the interests and observing and seeing opportunities that may exist within the environment. The program is structured in such a way that there are some free time for youngsters so that they can also do some other meaningful activities. And these activities can be from just learning a new language, learning to play an instrument, but also some of the youngsters actually want to do a part-time job to give them more real-world exposure. And sometimes some of the youngsters are looking at improving their grade 12 matric results. And so the program allows for additional activities like that as well. We expect that the youngster will take ownership and accountability. However, we make sure that we provide sufficient support and guidance, as well as a safety net for the individual as well. Then in terms of the aim of the program, I think it's important just to note that the program is a structured development program, but we want these youngsters to come and create their own direction, find some meaning, and explore opportunities in life through a structured developmental program. They will get to know themselves. They will match their talents with opportunities. And then through the exploration of the real world of work, we're hoping that they will complete the program and then at the end of it, get a certificate from Stellenbosch University. I think it's important for me to highlight that that certificate is not a formal qualification, but a certificate that they receive of competence, not only of attendance on this program. Great. In terms of the focus of the program itself, we focus on 3 developmental areas, and hopefully through those 3 areas, we're getting the person to actually leave as, I would like to call it, a person who is empowered. And the 3 areas are personal mastery, business acumen, as well as entrepreneurial thinking. So you can see we're not going to develop them as entrepreneurs, but we do understand that sometimes youngsters cannot only find formal ways of finding a career, but maybe they are some of these people that can think up in terms of innovation and new ideas. And so that's what the kind of mindset that we're hoping to develop. We're following a dual pathway of teaching in our approach, which is theory and practice at the same time. So in the classroom, there will be sort of frameworks that will be presented, theories that will be presented, but then there's also the application through self-organized projects as well. The LPF, JP, is the person that will hold them and ensuring he will be in all the classes that they attend. And then in terms of support, we also have the life coaches. And by the way, each participant needs to attend a minimum of 5 life coaching sessions as well. We're very proud to say that even though this is a lot of work to work with youngsters that come just from matric. We are proud that we have extremely experienced faculty members who has a real passion for the development of youngsters who will be facilitating on the program as well. And then in terms of what we are really hoping to achieve, and I'm sure that some of you might know this particular model, which is called the Johari window, where we really just want to ensure that the youngsters will increase that public side. They want, in terms of they're going to learn to know themselves better, so understanding what it is that they know about themselves, but also so that other people get to know them as well. If you look at this slide, you'll see that when we look at the public side, that is what I know about myself and what other people know. But then there are some stuff that I don't know about myself, but there are other people who know that. My family knows that about me. And that is usually called the blind side. And then there's the private side, stuff that I know, but other people don't know that about me. And then lastly, there is the hidden potential. And these are things that I might not know about myself, but also other people don't know that yet either. And so what we're hoping to do is to increase this public side by reducing the blind side, reducing the hidden potential, and also reducing the private side. And so what that literally means is the program is focused around me sort of sharing information about myself, so learning about myself, and then being able to share that, but also it's based around getting feedback from others, because these other people know things about me that is either playing positively or negatively in my life, and that can help me to grow as a person as well. So as I begin to wrap up my little session, in terms of making sure that you are successful, the following aspects are important. First, at the beginning of the year, we do a psychometric assessment, which is known as the Strength Finder, where we literally look at focusing on the young person's strengths rather on what it is that they cannot do. So they have to complete that. To be successful, they then have to do all the other assessments. Remember, I said that it is a certificate of competence. And so these other assessments are focused on, amongst other, some assignments. And we are doing 2 exams as well, one in June and one at the end of the year as well. They also have to do some job shadowing, where they will have to go, even though there's a time where we say, this is when you have to submit a report to us, but that doesn't mean that that job shadowing is only happening in that period. We encourage them to continue exploring other careers, exploring other ways of doing things. So even though we don't arrange the job shadowing, if they get stuck, they can always approach us through the LPF, and we will see how we could assist them. And then lastly, all the participants must at least have been through a minimum of 5 life coaching sessions as well. All of this throughout the year culminates in two major things. We're hoping that the youngster will leave with a life plan as an individual, which they will present to the LPF. And then we want to stimulate and emulate teamwork. And so they will be divided into syndicate teams, where they will, as a team, will have to come up with a business plan with just the basic principles of how to run a business, how to actually just present or sell your idea to a panel at the end as well. Now, we know and we are aware that for many people, we're looking at, okay, so my youngster has done this program. What does that mean? What does that lead to? So for the first time in this year, we have secured an arrangement with the University of Lincoln in the UK, that at the successful completion of this program, the youngster would then qualify to do the foundational degree in operations management at the University of Lincoln. And that what that means is that the program is a remote program. In other words, they don't have to actually physically be in the UK to attend the program, but they can then qualify to do that at successful completion of the Young Minds program. All right, so in summary, what we are offering is that we offer support provided by the LPF and the coaches. They need to have at least 5 coaching sessions. They need to do at least 20 notional hours for the world of work, pass all the assessments and the assignments, and obviously, by the way, 50% is the minimum pass rate, not the 40% that people usually speak of in school. And then attendance is compulsory. Applications and admissions, just so that you know, 55% for the prelim, but since you already have your grade 12 results, so the mid-year grade or the grade 12 results are now required. You can come as long as you have a matric pass. That is the actual requirement. There's no specific subject required. And maybe also just to let you know that the applications close on the 18th of February. That's in 2 weeks' time. Yeah. On that note, I see the chat has been quite busy, and thank you to my colleagues for responding. On that note, let me hand over to Claire, who will take us further in her part. Thanks, Claire.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Kevin, and a warm welcome to everyone on the call today. So I have the job of letting you know exactly what the schedule will be for the next 9 months for the students. So we will kick off our semester 1 with the orientation week in Stellenbosch from the 11th to the 14th of March. And then we'll have that learning period right up to the 28th of March. And then there will be a short recess. Then we'll kick into our learning period 2, which is from the 7th of April to the 16th of May, again with a short recess. And then our learning period 3 will be the 21st of July to the 5th of September. We'll go into another recess. And then our learning period 4 will be from the 15th of September to the 24th of October. That will obviously all be in Stellenbosch. And then for the final period, here we go. For the final period from the 3rd to the 5th of November, then we will end off. Sorry, I just get the chats popping up on my screen. So it covers a little bit of the dates. There we go. And then finally in December, obviously a date still to be confirmed. That will be the certificate ceremony, our little graduation, and that is done remotely for all students. We also have 2 exam weeks, as Kevin has said, as well. That will be 1 exam per semester. And then very important to note, we have a parent orientation session, which will be the 5th of March, and that will be between 4:30 and 5:30, and that will also be done remotely via Zoom, where we'll have a quick chat with the parents and what the expectations are for the year. Some frequently asked questions that we get quite a bit. So no specific grade 12 subjects are required to apply. As Kevin has mentioned, it's 55% for your mid-year, but we have received your grade 12 results to qualify. Attendance is compulsory for all classes in order to get your certificate. A program will take place in Stellenbosch, on the Stellenbosch campus, as mentioned, in the Nilsie, right on the top. We have a wonderful venue up there. So there also to note, Kevin has discussed this, that no credit exemption towards any university or undergraduate degrees will give you access for the Young Minds. And then the fees for 2025 is 61,574, excluding VAT. We also have a Capitec opportunity available, and that would be, those details will be in the chat. One of our marketing ladies will drop it in there for you. So just to note, what's not included in the fees is obviously your travel and your private accommodation, laptop. Sorry, the chat's coming up here again for me. Any necessary software, your Wi-Fi and data, or any data requirements. So you should have sufficient data for your remote groups and individual coaching sessions that you would have. All right. I'll hand back to Kevin. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Claire. And I've noticed that there are quite a number of questions that's in the chat. So with your permission, I'll go straight to that. Thank you to those of you who are asking the questions. And then also thank you to the team for responding to some of those questions. Ladies and gentlemen, you can just scroll up and down there to see some of the questions. I saw there's a question, my son is now grade 12. Can he join next year? Of course, he can definitely do that. And then there was another question around, they will only be joining next year. So would it be possible, I think it was Suret, for them to attend one day this year, perhaps for them to see how it is. I'm sure that is possible. Just make an arrangement with us before the time if they want to just sort of attend a class to see. If they are in school, it might be a difficulty because our classes will only happen in the morning. So our classes will run from 8:30 in the morning till lunchtime, and so that we don't have classes in the afternoon. And then obviously, if you would like to, we can make that arrangement provided that they only attend a physical class session and not one where the students are presenting, because obviously some of the students in terms of their life plans have some personal things that they present, and we would want sort of strangers intruding in that. I'm sure that you will be able to appreciate that. I see there's a question around how many days of class per week. So we plan 3 days per week, so running from Monday to Wednesday, but there may be 1 or 2 weeks where we actually start the class on a Tuesday, depending, especially after holiday period. We run the classes, but only 3 days per week. There are days that they do have a full day scheduled for attendance, and that is the days where they do their not final presentations, but the progress presentations in terms of their business plans, as well as their individual life plan presentation. So they might have to come and do their presentation at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because if we have about 90 students, all of them need to present. And so there are days that they will have, like, where they will run a little bit longer than usual. But in essence, the majority of the days classes will be from 8:30 till 12:30 lunchtime, more or less. Private students organization. Yeah, there is, you can become part of the private students organization. During the orientation week, we have the PSO coming in to share with the participants what are the services that they and amenities that they are able to utilize. Yeah, so that is something that can definitely happen. Marietta, I'm trying to understand your question. You're asking, do you issue a certificate if you ponder a student? I'm not sure if I understand the question. Do you mind maybe just sort of like illuminating that for me, please? Okay. Okay. If Marietta, if you can maybe just retype it, and I'll read it again. Zander is asking about what happens between 16 May and 29 June. The university is closed. It's semester holiday. That's a very funny thing about universities. I don't think people realize that, but a university academic year is not a calendar year. It's far less than a calendar year, but that's the period. So in that time, 16 May, there will be a study week for preparation as for the exam, and then the exam will also be done in that week, and then it's mid-year recess that happens in that time. Okay. Leslie, no specific software needed on your laptop. As long as you have Word or MS Word and Microsoft PowerPoint, you are good to go. Job shadowing, Monbabizi. When you attend the course, JP will talk you through what is the requirement in that regard. And then Anina, it's not only for 18-year-olds, but we do have a limitation in terms of the age. In South Africa, youth is regarded up to, I think, 35 or 36. They still regarded as youth. But we do not want 18-year-olds to be in a class with 35-year-olds. But we do get students who have done an undergrad course and are now 21 to 22 years old, but want to take a gap year before they go into their final career choices. We do admit students like that as well. But in essence, the majority of the class will be between 18 and 23 years old when they attend the program. Okay. Okay, so that question was answered. So, JP, your question around typically what businesses or companies do you plan to visit to job shadowing? So what we're doing is we don't go and take the students there. This is something that they have to arrange themselves. But if the student gets stuck, because what we often see is also that some of these youngsters are coming from different areas, different regions of our country, and they don't know Cape Town that well. But that is where we will get involved, is to sort of connect them. They come and talk to us and say, this is what I'm interested in. And then we can help say, okay, let's see where we can find a place for you. But we can guide them, but we don't arrange, because that's part of their development from how do they move from an internal locus of control to an external locus of control. Okay. All right, Marietta. Okay, so the tax certificate, I think that's a question that either Claire or Amira should answer. So I think the question that Marietta is asking, do we issue the tax certificate as well, 18A?
Yeah, Kevin, I have seen that. I just want to clear that with our finance department. We haven't had this request before. But Amiri, if we could just jot that down and get that through to Ludre, just to ask her, but we haven't had it before. So we can, if you don't mind, if we can get back to you, you can just drop your email, or we'll pick it up and then just send you an email with a response.
Okay, thank you, Claire. Then someone is asking about, do you qualify with higher certificate matric pass or a diploma? The only requirement is a matric pass with 55% average. So whether you have a higher certificate pass or a diploma or a graduate pass or bachelor's pass, that's not what we're looking at. We're looking just at an average for. So this is not aimed at getting students who want to go to university. This is aimed at students who have really passed matric and now need to make a decision whether you qualify for university or not, whether you qualify to do a diploma or not. But we're just looking at 55%. Yeah. Good. Okay, Lauren, your question is a contentious question. Yeah, it does not. Like I've mentioned earlier on, that Stellenbosch University's Careers Center, they view our program in very positive. They recommend it very often to youngsters who come there and say, I didn't get in, what do I do now, etc. But it doesn't give the learner preference into the university. Okay, so I'll just be upfront about that. It doesn't give them preference. Yeah. Okay, so Zavandre, I think your question was answered. Thank you, JP. That question was answered. Orientation week, okay, it was answered. It will be on. It will only be a remote for the parents, but the orientation week for the students is on campus. Okay. Vian, you can contact Charmaine. At the end, there will be a contact email. You can contact Charmaine. You can contact Amira, etc., and they will provide you with further information. All classes in English, and then Wali, applications close on the 18th of February. Then Javandre, Javandre is asking about funding. Claire, maybe you want to answer that question?
Yeah, no, we don't have anything with regards to funding. I think the only thing that we do offer is the Capitec, that if you would like to apply for that. So we've got a relationship with them. So that details are in the chat already.
Thank you, Claire. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm struggling with a bout of coughing every time, so please forgive me. Then Zwalibanzi, your question around accommodation. Samantha usually provide you with some, I think Samantha will provide with some links that you can. And those are just like the accommodation that the university recommends that you can. So I'm sure that Samantha will post it into the chat just now for you as well. Okay. Good. All right. It seems like we seems like we've covered all of the questions, and just Noxie, yes, they will provide you with the presentation or the recording of this morning's session so that you have access to just refer back. And then I think there was a question around fees, the cost, etc. But that you can get just by going through our website as well, and you can get all information. If you get stuck, please do not hesitate, any of the people. But right now on the screen, you can see that you can forward your questions to info@sbsed.com, or you can use the telephone number, Cape Town code 918-4488, to ask any questions. And as you can see, also an email with the recording and program details will follow. You'll get that ASAP. I see there's a request for the Capitec, or it has been posted. Ben Carl.
Kevin, there's another one from Suret that's coming up.
Okay. Suret.
Will this help them to get clarity to their choice to study a BCom management?
Okay. So one of the modules that we cover is also the career planning and career guidance. It's just a difficult question to answer, and if you use the word clarity. So and I want to say clarity, not in a definitive manner, but they will definitely be clearer about what it is that they are stronger in, and what other aspects they are enjoying as well. But with the career planning canvas that they're doing, looking at what are their strengths and not focusing on what they cannot do, they will achieve a sense of direction in terms of where to next for them. I want to caution, because the program is iterative, what happens very often, parents expect us to help our students to know by March what they want to do with the rest of their lives, or April. And I just want to sort of caution that that's not going to happen. They will probably have a better idea of what they want to do with their lives closer to September this year, because there's a lot of input that must go into that. So it's not something you can rush. It's not something, it's the rest of their life that they need to make decisions about. So I really, and maybe I should have said that earlier on, I'm a clinical psychologist, and I work with a lot of these kind of things when parents bring their youngsters, even with my own children. It may not look like it, but I'm a father too. But and I know the anxiety as a parent. I know, because you want your children to have some sense of direction. I think for many of you who are not as old as I am, but are more mature as parents, you know, in our day and age, life was much simpler. You're going to become a teacher, an engineer, a policeman, a doctor, and that was it. And when we look at life now, there are just so many things that young people can do with their lives. And so I'm sorry if I have to be the bearer of that news to say, that's not going to give you a definitive answer. But what we can say is that the youngster would grow over this year, have a far better understanding of what they would like to do. It doesn't necessarily would tell them, go do a BCom. It won't say go do a BCom in computer science, but it will tell them a little bit around what kind of work they would enjoy, they would be good at, without specifying a particular qualification. Okay. I hope that helps that question. I think we've done well, Chanel. Our time seems to me like we're just about there. We're mindful, and thank you, JP. Hopefully I'll see you in the Nielsen when I get there as well. And so on that note, ladies and gentlemen, let us say thank you so much for your time. We trust that you have found it informative. And like we said, if you need any further information, please do not hesitate to contact us on the contact detail as was presented earlier on. Have a fantastic day and enjoy the rest of your day.